Have you ever seen a missing niche in your community and thought, we need to fill that? That's how the community group Transition Tamar got started. Focusing on food security and community building, Transition Tamar has become a well-appreciated part of the community in the Launceston region and beyond. Today I got to interview convenor Karen Hewitt to discover the mechanics and vision behind Transition Tamar.
Well, we started Transition Tamar because it was an election year and the federal government had just been re-elected and they had absolutely no policy on climate change whatsoever. So it became really obvious that any action was going to have to come from the grassroots, and at the same time I was getting increasingly anxious about what the future would hold for my daughter and for society in general, and felt that I needed to do something. When we started it, I was involved in a Permaculture Tasmania book group looking at a book written by permaculture co-originator David Holmgren called Retro Suburbia, which is all about retrofitting the suburbs to meet the climate emergency. So I went along to the next meeting and said I'd been looking into the transition movement, which was a great fit actually because it came out of a permaculture teaching. And would anyone like to get involved? And a bunch of people said yes. So I guess the goal when we started was to raise awareness of the ecological and climate emergencies within community and to start having those conversations. So we wanted this to be very much accessible to everyone. So the goals were to have those conversations and to start having food security workshops. That's another really accessible way to get people involved. We could see the supply chain fragilities during the COVID pandemic, and so people were much more aware of how they needed to be more resilient with their food at home. So we hold workshops. We hold 12 a year, 6 that we run 2 months each, looking at food security. So helping to upskill people to be able to grow their own food at home, to save their own seed, to build their soil, that sort of thing. We also held seed swaps down here at Windsor Community Gardens in partnership with the West Tamar Council. And we also take the seed board out and about when we're doing other events and have seed swaps wherever we are. So that's a way for people to get involved and to share seed. We hold movie nights as well in the warmer months. The movies have focused so far on soil restoration and how that can draw down a whole lot of carbon, as well as building local communities and creating resilient communities. And we also sit on the Tamar NRM Sustainable Community Working Group, which runs the Sustainable Living Festival. This year we had Craig Rucastle from the War on Waste as our special guest. And that is a much bigger event, draws about 1,000 people, and it's a great way to have make the conversation a lot bigger throughout community. Well, I guess the outcomes from what we've been doing, we've been going at this for 3 years now. We have over 750 Facebook followers. Our workshops are pretty much regularly booked out. We obviously are involved in conversations with the 3 councils that make up our catchment area, as well as Tamar NRM Sustainable Communities catchment area. And we've been involved in some of those really big events. We've been asked to collaborate with other organisations, which is where the real change happens, when we start seeing lots of groups working together. And I guess we've won some grants, so we've got more capacity to do things. And I guess now we're sort of, in our circles, a bit of a known entity now. Oh gosh, our proudest moment. Well, I guess being nominated for West Tamar Council's Volunteer Group of the Year was quite a great moment for us. But I actually think more than that, we've had over 400 people through our workshops now. That's a lot of lives that we've managed to encounter. And I think when people mention us, and I don't sort of assume that they know who we are, and they do, which makes me pretty proud that we've managed to build something that people are aware of. Yeah. So in the future, we'll definitely continue doing the food security workshops and the seed swaps. They're basically the foundation of what we're wanting to do. But I think it's the essence of what we do really is not that. It's actually community building. And so we want to start reaching out in other ways, like we have with the movies. That's another great way to bring people together and have conversations. But I guess what we're going to be doing in the future is our own book clubs. So we're going to be looking at doing an Active Hope book club and also our own Retro Suburbia book club. And we'll be applying for grants to run those and continuing to, I guess, keep our heads up and see where else we can make a difference.
If you would like to learn more about Transition Tamar, you can visit their website at transitionaustralia.net/site/Transition Tamar, visit their Facebook at facebook.com/Transition Tamar, or even email them at transitiontamar@hotmail.com.